Hey traders, checking in on the cryptocurrency space. So the bears are currently playing defense against some key resistance levels. Some of our altcoins are beginning to show relative strength. We've got a reaction in the broader stock market to Powell speaking today. Let's check it all out. Before we hit the charts, we've got another free ebook this week, 7 Trading Sins to Overcome. Lamont does a great job of going into how the different sins relate to trading and ways that we can overcome them and recognize these bad behaviors as traders. So I'll put the link in the description of the video as well as the comments. Check it out. Free ebook, good content. Lamont's smart. So looking at the broader market, we need to know, what are we looking for? Broader market, last week, significant bounce. Today, we're watching for daily consolidation to shape up. We know daily consolidation is inevitable, especially when in a weak market, downtrend on the weekly and daily time frame, you see a bounce over 4 days, 8%. That's a massive bounce as far as the broader market is concerned. So we know daily consolidation is inevitable, and we know that when we consolidate, there's going to be a potential impact on the cryptocurrency space. The best case scenario for the broader market from here is confirming a daily bull flag into continuation of this bounce. If that happens, in my opinion, you're going to start to see a lot more FOMO return to the space with people shifting their perspective. Oh, well, maybe this is a longer term bull flag. And again, I look at the 2-month time frame on the S&P 500 and I see no red flags on this chart whatsoever. So we're watching, what does daily consolidation look like? What is the retracement size? And can we see continuation from here? In addition to that, we have to be watching the broader market because of correlations. As we know, today, Powell talked about the potential for raising rates in the May Fed FOMC meeting, and maybe it's more than we thought, and this is the reaction. So the S&P 500 was testing the high of the day at that point in time and then dumped and the bears took over. At that same point in time, Bitcoin did the exact same thing. So it's definitely worth noting. Zooming in on Bitcoin, 2-minute time frame, there's your reaction. Big bear volume spike, same exact price action as SPY. So it's definitely relevant. That being said, there's also other information we can get from this. I can look at this chart and say Bitcoin is holding up better than SPY. There is relative strength on Bitcoin versus SPY. How can I say that? Because we hit the low of the day, 15-minute lower high, double bottom, and now another 15-minute lower high. SPY set a new low of the day, and its 15-minute bounce is much weaker. So if SPY's bounce were the same, SPY would have held 442.73, and we'd be trading up here right now. So Bitcoin has relative strength against the S&P 500 in this reaction. We're correlated to it. We're doing the same thing, but to a stronger, more bullish degree. So Bitcoin rejected from daily resistance. And again, there is a lot of confidence in bears as long as these two levels hold, because the bears can justify being in positions and bulls that are on or just cash. So there's 3 market participants: bulls, bears, those on the sidelines with cash. As long as 42.6 is resistance, the bears can say, yeah, I'm bearish. We're rejecting from daily resistance. And as long as we keep rejecting from daily resistance, I'm bearish. A bigger picture bear can say, as long as 45.9 is resistance, we're just setting a weekly lower high and the weekly downtrends will continue. Same thing with people with cash on the sidelines. They can look at those levels and say, well, I'm not missing anything. If we don't break those levels, bulls don't prove anything to me. So we must break these levels to shift that mindset. If these levels break, you're going to see bears covering. You're going to see bulls starting to have FOMO saying, oh man, did I miss our monthly high or low bottom? Are we about to head back to the all-time highs now that we're above 45.9 thousand? But if that does not happen, nothing changes. So it's very important to be watching these levels. We rejected from 42.6 resistance over the weekend. That being said, we are still in an uptrend. Support was 40.1. And currently, the bulls are trying to hold 40.5 to stay within striking distance of this resistance. If we hold this daily high or low, we're going to be testing that resistance level. If we lose support here, break 40,000, we're just right back into a weekly EMA 12 resistance rejection, and an equilibrium continues to play out. So it's not ideal timing in the sense that if the broader stock market does start daily consolidation and is red again tomorrow, that's going to help bears in Bitcoin reject from this double top and enter back into the middle of this tightening range. So best case for the bulls, confirm a 4-hour trend change back in their favor. set a daily higher low, and get back to testing 42.6 thousand to try and shift this momentum. Dominant bear break. So the dominance was in a daily equilibrium. We had a stair-step pattern of a higher low every single week for a long time, and that has now broken bearish. So weekly consolidation is underway, and I've been talking a lot about this long-term tightening dominance range, and we now have a new lower high at 44.09, and we're now scouting a weekly higher low, anything above 39.15. And I anticipate that we're going to trade within this tightening range for a while longer. I expect we're going to form a weekly higher low, then maybe another weekly lower high, and we'll be looking for a break sometime in late April or May. But we'll take it 1 week at a time. And again, for me personally, just knowing the relationship between Bitcoin and altcoins over the last year and a half, I want to see this pattern break bear. And I want altcoins to be leading Bitcoin in a bull move. And so that's what I'm watching for, but this is my guide. So Ethereum made a notable shift recently. I had not traded Ethereum in a very long time, probably over a month. It's probably the longest I've gone without trading Ethereum in potentially a couple years. And the reason was ETH BTC was all bear for a very long time. Pretty much, once we broke this support back here in December, we've been bear for a year. Is that a year? No, 3 months. What am I talking about? 3 months. But momentum shifted. So ETH BTC confirmed a weekly bear flag with zero follow through straight into a daily trend change back to the bulls. That tells us there is a lack of bear follow through and the bulls shifted that momentum nicely. The monthly time frame is still an uptrend. So the bulls are hoping to hold EMA 12 and set a monthly higher low here and get this bounce going. So Bitcoin has been the place to be compared to Ethereum for the bulls for the last 3 months, and that is now changing. So I made an entry yesterday, playing an oversold bounce in Ethereum, and it was just hourly RSI. Again, the daily move had made a notable bull move, increasing bull volume. Clearly Ethereum stronger than Bitcoin in the recent past week. So I see the daily consolidation begin. So what am I looking for? Well, hourly oversold. Okay, but we're getting hourly oversold and we're in the low 20s. And by the time I looked at this chart, we were very beat up. The hourly RSI was in the mid 20s. So I say, all right, that's perfectly fine for me to begin scaling in. So this was yesterday at 1:51 p.m., which was right here. And I liked it because hourly was oversold, 30-minute crushed, 15-minute crushed, 5-minute oversold. So a lot of RSI levels were down in the low 20s. And grabbing some ETH 28.28 for the hourly oversold bounce. The plan will be to sell a partial and to set a break-even stop on the hourly oversold bounce. I will enter one more position if we break 2,800 from here without the hourly RSI cooling off. And my hourly oversold bounce will be the target of EMA 12. So that's my game plan, and the bounce was very significant. So I then, as the bounce started to take shape, I then said, all right, I'm not sitting at the computer today, so I'm just going to set my stop under 2,800 and I'll be back. And then I came back into a very notable bull move. I sold partial position in the upper 2,800s, enough so that my stop is under 2,800 and I am break even. And that is where I stand. I'm not looking to take any profit on this trade. Why? Because I either just nailed the daily higher low for a bull break. I just either nailed the daily higher low for a bull flag into a key resistance break, little double top here, not a double top, but 29.89 and 30.45. I believe that if we break 29.89, that we will break 30.45 as well. So I'm in a risk-free position for Ethereum where it's either going to be a big win or I don't lose $1. And again, I love putting myself in risk-free positions, playing oversold bounces that align with longer-term timeframes. If we're in a daily downtrend, I don't trade that hourly oversold bounce anywhere near the same. The reason I'm still in this position is because I'm scouting a daily higher low. And there was also a point on my initial entry where I was looking for a 12-hour higher low and EMA 12 support test. And both pairings, including the BTC pairing, were both doing that. And so that was what gave me confidence to make that initial entry. So that went well. And I now have Bitcoin and Ethereum swing exposure, where if these charts break bull, it's going to be a nice month for me. And if they don't, then it'll be a small loss. I believe my entry on Bitcoin was down around 39s, and it's not a break-even position for me on Bitcoin. I've got my stop under 37, but I've got exposure in both now for the potential that we break resistance. I could also just say if 40,000 breaks on Bitcoin, I exit half my position, and then my risk drops considerably, and I may do that. If we break 40,000 from here, it will be a bit of a red flag for me on Bitcoin. So that's where we stand, as the Ethereum bulls are holding on much better. If we see a pullback here, we're watching for a 4-hour or the 12-hour tightening range. So high, higher, low. If we reject it to lower high, have to hold support of 28.19. If we fail this bull flag, I'll just stop out and I'll go back to all cash and I'll patiently wait for the next trade opportunity. Ape. A lot of ape traders. So ape had a big time run up, but then gave a lot back. Have to be cautious with this one just because, again, the fact that it's an airdrop, the market is not the same as if it weren't an airdrop, essentially. You have to consider the psychology of market participants. And if people are willing to just market sell, knowing that it's just money in the bank regardless, it's a lot different environment than if you're just, regularly trading something that's been trading for a very long time. So just keep that in mind that this is an unusual scenario. Obviously, there's a lot of volatility, but again, just being aware that it's an airdrop. But we're scouting a daily high or low, anything above 733. We had a solid bounce, 925 to 11, so that's a 20% bounce, but we never changed the hourly trend. It was a stair-step bounce with a higher low every single hourly candle, and now we're in an hourly downtrend again. So the only hope for the bulls here to put in a daily high or low is hold 925 and break $11, 1101. If we do not break 1101, the bulls don't prove a thing, and this can keep fading and keep dropping. We cannot have the confidence in RSI levels and retracement sizes that we have on a regular stock, a regular crypto, because again, this is its own beast because it's so new to trading. We don't have, market makers established on both sides of things with bots and correlations and significant position sizes dictating the market. So just be aware of that as you're looking to trade it, because things can get ugly in terms of things getting way overextended. And the same thing goes with the hourly. First hourly oversold conditions after the big run, that didn't mark the bottom. And we ended up dropping another 9% from there. So just a standard cautionary statement. 4-hour trend change has to take place, otherwise bears keep complete short-term control. If we change the 4-hour trends of the bulls, we zoom out and scout a daily lower high with tons of space for it to form. BTC pairing is doing the exact same thing. Worth keeping an eye on it for clues, but definitely very correlated US dollar and BTC pairing. Luna. So Luna started to show us some weakness and the spotlight started to fade after being a lead bull and hitting a new all-time high. The spotlight started to fade and we ended up losing the daily uptrend and confirming a downtrend. And when you look at the weekly time frame, you say, yeah, weekly consolidation is due. We just went 100% over a month or 3 weeks. Weekly consolidation is due. So as soon as you confirm the daily downtrend and lack any follow through, that needs to fire off a bull light bulb in your head. Doesn't mean you have to jump in, but it just means that's best case scenario for bulls. To confirm a daily downtrend, and let's just look at what happened on the short-term time frames when that bear break took place. So the bear break took place. Initially, a lack of follow through, hourly lower high. We did get another leg down, but then very quickly back above that level. And then an hourly trend change to the bulls, and then that marked the bottom. So we were not under that level very long at all. And again, it's just a very impressive recovery. And we can now say that Luna, after showing us some relative short-term weakness, is still positioned with all-time highs in play if Bitcoin breaks that 42.6 level. Luna's positioned very well if Bitcoin can break this resistance. And if Bitcoin cannot break this resistance and heads back into this daily equilibrium, we're going to look for Luna to give us a daily high or low, anything above 82.57. So bulls have a ton of space to work with now. But the BTC pairing did the exact same thing. Daily downtrend confirmed. There was a bit more follow through on the BTC pairing, and it broke first to give us a little bit of a red flag. And the US dollar pairing followed the BTC pairing. But again, this is still very healthy at this point. and we're keeping the weekly stair-step pattern intact with a higher low every single week on both pairings. So after some initial short-term weakness, bulls regain control on Luna, and we are positioned well for all-time highs if Bitcoin can break 42.6 thousand and keep some short-term uptrends. Right now I'm watching the Bitcoin 12-hour higher lows. So nice win for the bulls, nice save. I call that a save for sure, because the daily downtrend confirmed, all signs point to weekly consolidation beginning from there, and the bulls turn it right around into a fairly significant bounce. So Luna still definitely has attention, lost it for a bit, lost our attention for a bit with a little bit of relative weakness, but gained it back real quick. Sol, so last video I was talking about looking for a Sol entry on a 12-hour higher low. I think I was recording the video right around here, and we got that 12-hour higher low. And it was a really good entry because we then went 10% higher. But I didn't make that trade. I was focused on stocks, too much going on, too many trades open, and that's okay. I know some of you got it as well. And we're not getting a whole lot of follow through. And fortunately, the bull move was enough to position worst case risk free. You know, if you get 10% move off of consolidation, you don't want that to allow to be in a losing scenario. Even if I didn't nail the bottom and the price only went 5% higher than where I bought, again, to go up 5% and then end up in a red trade, I personally will never let that happen. And if you want to be a bit more aggressive and you're looking for, bigger picture swing trades, that's one thing. But for me, if I'm 5% in the green, I don't possibly go red in that trade. But where we stand right now, the Sol 2-day time frame is where the clarity is, and the bulls still have a lot of proving to do for me here. I'm keeping my eye on them. We've got a low, high, higher low, and anything under 106.45 is just a lower high. The 2-day lower high pattern has been very clear for a long time now, and it's the BTC pairing that's not making me confident yet. Look at the 2-day time frame for the BTC pairing. Look at the 2-day EMA 12. Rejection, 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 and currently rejecting. So I need to see bulls get over that EMA 12 if I'm going to say this time's different than the last 3 months. And if we don't, then it's not different. So I'm watching for signs that Sol is gaining relative strength comparative to Bitcoin. And we did a little bit here, but still work to be done. And there's a handful of coins that have the same 2-day equilibrium. Vet is one of them. So 2-day, low, high, higher low, anything under 5729 is just a lower high. And ADA is another one. Anything under 101 is just a 2-day lower high. I'm watching all three of these names as a group because they're very similar to each other with their setups. Their BTC pairings have been notably weak, some of them for 4 months, some of them for longer, but the commonality is for at least the last 4 months, the BTC pairings have been very weak. So the BTC pairings are trying to make reversals, shape up, but the 2-day US dollar pairings are nice and clear equilibriums. And if they give us lower highs, we're going to tighten up nicely and we're going to see volatility in all these coins in early April. But what remains to be seen is, are we going to set a lower high here? And again, Bitcoin is going to play a large part in that. Does Bitcoin break its weekly equilibrium bullish, or does it reject and remain within a tightening range? And if it rejects, we're going to look for these names to tighten up their 2-day equilibriums as well. So that's where we stand. I have some bullish swing Bitcoin and Ethereum positions. One of them is risk-free. One of them is Bitcoin is acceptable risk. I will move up a stop under 40,000 for a partial position on Bitcoin. But other than that, we're patiently watching. Is the broader stock market going to consolidate on a daily time frame? How does the crypto space hold on comparatively? Can these little bull flags on some names like Ethereum, can they confirm for follow through? Feel free to ask any questions. Have a good day. Do good things.